So there's a few singles that have come out that we have Rob's version and Mel's
Yeah,
version.
yeah.
Can you guys just both like what how does this start? Like do you hear her version then you have other ideas? Like
Yeah.
just walk us through everything.
Those were made so long ago. So those were made at
Yeah.
a time where I was really just experimenting with more like mixing and mastering techniques. So
Yeah.
I think that was during COVID or sometime
Yeah,
soon
or
after
even maybe
COVID.
before that. It was like
Yeah.
so long ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just got sent the tracks. I was like at the time I was just like throwing different tracks in like samples, like splice
Yeah.
samples, loops, anything in, just trying to make leeway of like getting more toward what I think the ideal is for how a song should sound production wise and sonically and like from a mixing and mastering
Yeah.
perspective. And like not even trying to really create my own music, like just trying to optimize like if I if there were like a certain set of rules that I could recognize that made it completely ideal from a sonic listening experience, like what could those be, and like how
Yeah.
far can I get with basically no inspiration and just techniques, like
Yeah,
just
yeah.
throwing like acoustic guitar sample over a kick and a snare and a hi-hat and a bass, and like how
Which is
how
so
much could I
cool.
make that sound like a package thing. And so
Yeah.
I think somewhere in that process of me doing that, it was just like I think I was like working downstairs in the basement, and at some point it must have just been that Melanie thought to just like send me her songs, and then I kind of just did that with my song with what I was doing at the time. So
Yeah.
I what are they Trixie and
Trixie and Leave Me the Fuck Alone.
yeah, so
But that was really well said from your perspective too. So from my perspective, we did them both different. Like we did both of them differently, but yeah, it was the same thing. Like I wanted to. First of all, Robert's just like better at production and mixing and mastering than I am. Like I could be honest about that.
thank you.
Oh,
You're better.
yeah.
She's better at singing than I am.
Yeah, I'm like more of a singer songwriter in that perspective, but so realistically, like when you listen to them, like sonically Robert's versions are better, but I wanted to do it that way because I wanted to showcase, like, first of all, the way that I've gotten better at production, and also just the fact that like kind of like an idea and then what could actually happen with the idea, which is also why my songs are first and Robert's are second, because I wanted to show like the idea and the concept and then how it gets portrayed out. But I thought that was just a cool way to like showcase how we work together. But Leave Me the Fuck Alone, I sent you the stems and you did what you just explained.
Yeah.
For Trixie, we re-recorded the vocals together.
Yeah, we re-recorded
Yeah.
the vocals, and I think I created that synth patch on that. So
Yeah,
and that
yeah,
that's
yeah.
kind of what
we
I want.
recreated the whole production in that song.
Yeah, and the
in
drum
the
work.
Trixie,
Yeah. Yeah, no, so what I wanted to kind of highlight from that is, in my opinion, that exactly what Melanie explained, like the first song, Melanie's version, is more of like a concept of what the song would be.
Yeah.
And then mine is kind of just what I was doing at the time is just like with the least amount of things. So I think the Rob's version of both of those songs are kind of repetitive, very repetitive, and it's because it
Yeah,
was kind
okay.
of just in the moment of me like throwing tracks in, and it just happened to be like Melanie's tracks from
Yeah,
from that
but
song,
also
so.
you specifically for those two songs, he specifically asked me to send him songs that were repetitive.
Yeah,
So he was like,
yeah.
"This is what we're gonna do."
Yeah.
He literally was like, "Give me your most repetitive songs, and this is what we're gonna do. We're just gonna like amp up the production on them."
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah,
like
yeah.
kind of the point of both of those songs.
Yeah, yeah.
And I also didn't want to release them
true.
as just his single version and just mine because I liked how we both did
You know,
different
it's better like
things.
that. I think
Yeah.
mine's too repetitive, and as yours, unless we like spend more time mixing
Yeah,
yours,
yeah.
it from a like professional standpoint, it's kind of like it works really well just like
Just
with
on
the
top
two.
of each
Yeah,
other, yeah.
yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And also, I didn't want to go back and like have Robert mix my version because that's what we're doing now.
Right.
Like now we're doing this system where I've gotten good enough at production that I can just send him my stems and have him mix them. At that point, we were kind of in this like in between phase where like my production wasn't there yet. Like my own quality of production wasn't there yet, and we wanted to still experiment with like how can we make this sound good, you know? What
Yeah,
I
and
mean?
even composition, I would say like not only the production standpoint, but
Yeah.
you've evolved a lot from the compositional standpoint too.
Yeah.
Like
thanks,
so
yeah.
I think I think we would, you're right, it would be a matter of like reimagining what you had done compositionally as
Yeah.
well as the production, where yeah.
Right, and I love those like little EPs, but we'll probably never do them again. Because
Yeah.
now it's just like we have a
Now it's a
different
process,
workflow.
yeah.
Like it's a different workflow than we used to have. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and I think going forward, that's gonna be another thing is like going forward. I think what we have now is a good system, and it's really
Yeah.
cool. It's really cool to see that we could get like fully fledged, finished sounding songs with the system that we have too.
Yeah, and they're really good.
Yeah, yeah,
Like it's fire.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Like
yeah. No, I
we-
like them.
especially like I mean, my album wouldn't be like what it is right now without him. So it's really just like the aspect of us doing it together is really beneficial, and we all three of us have never really been like we all collaborate so well now, but we've never been collaborators where we sit in the room together. Like we
Yeah.
do not sit in the room together, and we have before. Like we did the vocals on Trixie, but I don't think we would ever. We've talked about this more recently because now we're getting better at collaborating. But like we might sit in the room together and write a song, but I don't like that.
Yeah.
Like I don't like sitting in the room with other people and writing a song.
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that.
Yeah.
It's I mean, honestly, if we were to do that, I think what it would look like is I would just have input about like the structural components
yeah.
of the transition, like of the different sections and how it builds and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But I honestly the only aspect I think the only thing that could evolve that would make like a huge difference. I think a lot of it is just subjective differences that make things different rather than better or worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I think if every chorus or every part where the song comes to like a climax had a bass section or like a bass part that would be like another development, and that
Yeah,
would be my
that's
only
cool.
advice. It would just be like, oh, I think this is a climax. Like you already like there's obviously drums in all of those
Yeah,
parts.
yeah.
Like if like in like Happy Home Tombstone, for example, like if that had a bass during the chorus,
Yeah.
that would just be like my only critique of what can make it better rather
Yeah,
than just
yeah.
like a lateral difference, you know?
Yeah, I like to produce in a way that's really like stripped back.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I love listening to music like that too. You'll hear songs where there's no one certain instrument that you think should be there. There's none of it. Like I don't do every song with drum, bass, guitar. Like certain songs I know that you're supposed to like in terms of production rules like have low end in every single song, but you'll listen to some of my songs and you'll be like there's nothing that in here that you would
Yeah, except
expect
the
it to be
kick.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just like something that I like to do, but it depends on the style of what you like to listen to, cuz I love like pencil beats. Like the artists I listen to are like trap beats and pencil beats, like Mac Miller beats and like Lil Peep beats.